Good, beautiful day to you, my friends. It's Billy Mandarino, the Nowist, and today is a day of synchronicity. It's a day of light. It's a day of connection. And I say that because my good friend Alejo Jergovic has been a very special person in my life for the last 3 to 4 years, Alejo.
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years. And how we met is earth-shaking, mind-blowing, synchronicity at its best. And if you're watching this listening or watching this podcast, you know what synchronicity is most likely, because people that follow the NOW-IST teachings have been following the work that I've been obsessed with for the last 5 years, know what a synchronicity is. And Alejo and I shared one of the most divine, inspired, phenomenal synchronicities of my life. And I can't wait for you to meet the wonderful Alejo. I call him my synchronicity, my synchro bro, because he is all about, oh my gosh, he's all about the work of going deeper into your spirit, the inside job that is working on yourself and working on yourself to make the world better and to make other people better. He is a perfect example of that. And he's also one of my dearest friends. He has created all 8 of the music videos that for people coming to the NOW-IST Experience Live, which is coming up May 13th and 14th. He single-handedly created all 8 of these videos that you will see live. He's an amazing filmmaker, producer, artist, musician, just a light in this world. And I could brag about him the whole 45 minutes, but I am going to introduce him to you, and he's going to introduce himself to you. And then we are going to take you on a synchronistic journey. So prepare yourself.
Thank you,
And
Billy.
welcome my brother, Alejo.
Thank you, Billy. So blessed to be here and in my second podcast ever. And what an amazing way to do it here with the master himself. And yeah, wow, it's been a journey since I met you. I feel like looking back to when I met you 3.5 years ago, I was completely different, just a different person. There's a lot of things that has happened, and I feel like the convergence of our our beings in that moment was like the start. It was like a portal to what was to come, which has been the last 3 years. Incredible.
Oh my
And
man, that
I'm so
was,
glad I met you right before this whole thing happened, this whole pandemic and what's happening right now, just craziness.
oh
So
my
it's great
gosh.
that we connected right before it started.
There are no accidents in the divinely organized universe. And I just feel blessed that the divine that organizes everything, God, the oneness, the source, the infinite consciousness, brought us together for a reason. And we are going to take you, listeners, viewers, through that journey that we went through. And Alejo had a phenomenal mystical experience during COVID. And he's going to share that with you. But Alejo, tell him a little bit about you, your soul, your light. I could brag about you all day, but tell them what's happening with you lately, and what's your dharma? What do you feel
Yeah.
inspired by lately?
Well, my name's Alejandro Jergovic. I was born in Venezuela, Caracas, which is in South America, right next to Colombia, in the north of South America. And I lived there for 7 years. I don't have much memory. I got my memory from Venezuela. They're very like here and there. I remember certain parts. But most of my memory as a child starts when I moved to Florida. I feel like yeah, there was a foundation in Venezuela was very important for me because I was in a different culture. I learned Spanish, and the first 7 years they say are the most important in your life because that's when
That's right.
you're everything's being integrated in your life. You're seeing everything for the first time. You're learning. You're so fast in those first 7 years. So I think it was like perfect that I started in Venezuela and then I moved to Florida, kind of like initiated in another country, and then moved to a new land. And what a beautiful place to come, right? To America, where ultimately was given so much freedom to do what I wanted, and which led to here, doing my dream, living my dream. So it all started in Florida. And I was 7 years old. My family, we grew up there, and in a very safe community. My sister was a dancer growing up, so I was always um, right next to her and seeing her perform, going to her shows. I played soccer growing up, and for me, soccer was huge because it instilled the discipline, that you need to do anything, and the focus you need to accomplish whatever you want. So be going to soccer, doing the fitness, having the discipline with a coach, going to practice twice a week, that helped me a lot. So that was another little mission in my journey that initiated me for what was to come. You know, it's looking back now that you see how every single part of your life was little tools that you were getting, you know, little side quests for the main mission. And the main mission keeps unfolding itself. You know, it's like an onion that's peeling itself. But now I kind of, you kind of sense it more. You're not, you know the feeling, you know where we're going.
Yes.
So it's beautiful looking back. And yeah, I grew up high school. I went to South Florida as well with my sister. I picked up the guitar when I was like 14, and music's been a huge part of my life. I'm a freestyle singer. I like to, most of what I love to do is freestyle.
You're a badass, dude. You're a badass.
Yes. I thank you. And you know, we have to do a jam session. We haven't jammed together.
That's happening. 'Cause I know you're in Santa Barbara now. From Miami, you're now in Santa Barbara.
Yeah. So Miami, I moved to Santa Barbara, and I went to college and studied math. And then I actually dropped out of college 2 years in. I realized there was something else that was calling me. And this was when I was 21. Something else was calling me. I dropped out of college and decided to go to the mountains. And I was actually watching a YouTube video of these guys. It was a TED Talk, actually, of this Harvard professor that was teaching in Harvard and decided to leave his job. I think his dad has passed away. His mom died. Like, he had a huge dark part of his life that he was living. So he left Harvard and went to hike this trail called the Pacific Crest Trail. It's a 2,600-mile trail from Mexico to Canada. So I was inspired looking at that TED Talk, and then right away I said, I'm doing that. I'm hiking that trail.
Whoa.
So in this moment in my life when I'm dropping out of college and I'm feeling like a bit lost, you know, like, this is not it. This is not where I want to go. Like I always loved doing videos. Since I was a young kid, I've been with a camera in my hand, filming whatever, editing, learning how to edit on YouTube, never knowing why I was so interested, but always kept doing it when I was young. My parents would come into the room seeing that, like, we had an old computer, and they would ask, like, what are you doing? What is that program? Like, because they would see all these like little like advanced like you know, like editing programs, and they were just wondering what their 13-year-old boy was doing. So when I decided to hike the trail, I bought a camera, I bought all the gear. I spent like $2,000. I was working at a restaurant at the time. And I took a flight to Santa Barbara. Actually, my friend called me. This was 2016. He called me and said, hey, I know you're doing this trail, this hike. I want you to come to Santa Barbara and I'll drive you to Mexico. So I was like, what? Oh, definitely, let's do it. So I went to Santa Barbara. It was my first time in Santa Barbara. I remember I was in the Mesa. He lived in the Mesa, the view of the ocean. I was like, what is this place? You know, I only spent 2 days in Santa Barbara before he drove me to Mexico, but that stayed in my subconscious, this place, because it was the point where I was sent off on a big journey for 6 months. So yeah, he dropped me off in Mexico, and he actually dropped me off in the train, took a train to Mexico. And then I started this trail. It was 6 months by foot. It was 1 month in the desert, crossing the desert, which was how you gain your wings. Basically, it's just so dry. You're getting used to your backpack weight. You're carrying a lot more water because the water is so far away from each other. Like the river, you would find a little river. That's where you filter your water. You would cook if you had to, carry water for the next section, hike 15 more miles, and then you would sleep when you found water, because you had to sleep by the water.
Gosh,
that was my life for the first month in the desert, just hiking to water, sleeping by water, filtering water. You know, and it was beautiful. There was also a lot of people hiking this trail. I don't know if have you heard of the Pacific Crest Trail?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. There's that movie called Wild, right? Reese Witherspoon did a movie on that. I called it Wild. Yes, and she hiked. It's a story about a woman that hiked the Pacific Coast Trail.
Yes,
it's
and
phenomenal.
she actually the movie came out in 2015, which is the year before I hiked it. Mm-hmm. So when I started the trail in 2016, it was all women.
Everybody wanted to do it, right?
Because they were all so inspired from the book and the movie. It was awesome.
Alejo, you seem to downplay it, but it is like a monumental thing for 6 months to be out there 2,600 miles. Like, how'd you go through the desert and, you know, hydration and danger and like snakes and like, was there problems that came with it? Of course, right?
So yeah, it was a lot of people started in April. That's the best time to start because it gives you enough time to get to Canada before the winter, before October. And I started April 26th. There was about 6 people with me on the first day, but every single day there was probably 30 to 40 people starting. And a lot of them, you know, quit in the first few days because it's so tough, so hot. One of the dangers in the desert was definitely rattlesnakes. I would see a rattlesnake every single day.
Wow.
I had one or two. One of them almost bit me, like to the point where it had its fangs open right next to my leg, and I thought I was done.
Oh my
And
God.
somehow it was like an attack. It was just defense. It was showing its teeth,
Yeah.
but it didn't bite. And another danger is dehydration. There was I think one person died that year in the desert,
My
and
gosh.
another person almost died. They actually survived because they drank their own pee.
Oh my God.
And it's funny because in the PCT you lose your name and you're named on the trail with your trail name.
Yeah.
My trail name was Yucca because I was obsessed with the yucca roots, the yucca plant, and I talked about it so much. They're like, your name's Yucca. But this guy that survived, they called him Second Cycle because he drank his pee to survive. So his name was Second Cycle the whole way.
Oh my gosh. He
Yeah,
made the whole thing. He made the trail.
He actually made the trail. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, it's this, I don't want to stick to this story because it's such a long story, but yeah, the first month was desert, then came the Sierras, which it got way easier. There's a lot more water, but also more elevation. You're going up and down. Right. I encountered a bear right in front of me. I had to scream and he ran off. I encountered coyotes, which I thought were wolves. Since I'm from Miami, I don't know what coyotes are. So when I saw a coyote for the first time, I was filming. I'm like, that's a wolf. That's a wolf.
Did they mess with you?
No, the coyote just looked at me and then just kept walking.
Yeah.
I think he was looking at me like sizing me up, you know, to see if I was a danger.
Right.
I encountered an elk, a huge elk as well during a rain, because the elk, whenever it rains, they don't hear very well. So that's when you can encounter more animals. It's usually during the rain. They can't smell you, they can't hear you. And I saw this huge, massive elk, and that was a crazy experience. Looking into he was so close to me. I looked to him in the eyes, and I had an experience like no other. There was something that happened when we locked eyes. There was a stop of time. There was almost like, something primal that I was looking into when he saw me, you know?
Wow. Was he afraid?
I don't know if he was afraid. I don't know. He didn't look afraid. He was just looking at me. He looked at me really for a second, and then with confidence just kept walking. He was migrating south. I was going north. So we kind of passed right by each other.
Spectacular.
And then, after that, Oregon, made it to Oregon. By the time I was in Oregon, my legs were massive. My skin was harder, and I was 4 months into the trail, and I was so amazed at how the human body adapts. You know, I was a different person.
Did you have a cell phone or a connection with people? How's it?
I had a cell phone, no signal, but every 10 days you stop at a town, so you kind of have to plan out the trail with each stop, with each town that's coming. And as you go, you look at your map, you're like, okay, this town's coming, I need about 10 days of food, or this section I only need 7 days of food. And that's how you plan. So every time you get to a town, that's where you can get some cell reception, you can wash your clothes, get some more food. And so this experience for me was the beginning of everything. That's because it was right when I dropped out of college and I knew there was something else. And my intuition told me it was to go to the mountains, to hike. And for those 6 months, I was introduced to what your reality was. I guess this is reality too. The world we live in, which is the one of society, of worldly things, which is my karma. You know, I'm here to play a part, to play this character Alejo in this society. So it was all these things, learning that that's reality, like that's the real world, nature, bears, like having to drink water, just surviving, that's the real world. But for me, that was like the what would you call it, rites of passage. I think nowadays kids that are coming out of college, out of high school, going straight into college, graduating and going to work, there's a part they're missing there, and that's the rites of passage. Because if you look back to all the civilizations, the Egyptians, the Mayans, they all had their rites of passage that brought them into manlyhood, you know?
You're so right. You have to go through, and it's interesting. You intuitively just knew that you had to do the PCH or the Pacific,
PCT.
what's it called? The Pacific Coast Trail?
Yes, PCT, Pacific Crest.
PCT. You had to do that because you knew that this was the next thing for you, right? You had to detach from the world and you had to go in. You kind of had to go soul searching, right?
I soul knew it. I did. My ego didn't know it. I was kind of, what am I doing? But I'm doing, you know?
But the unknown was where the growth was, right? In that unknown, that scary, you put yourself on the unknown for 6 months. Like, you are so brave, brother, to do that. Not many people in this world have that much faith in their ability, and just that everything is going to be fine. You have, I know you as a brother now, that you have that angelic kind of countenance and peaceful countenance about you. And I that probably wasn't the same Alejo if I would have met you in 2015, right?
Oh, because I didn't have I didn't have that much of the faith that I have now on the universe, on God, on my soul. And I was more of just going. I was all about good vibes. I was always like a positive person. Even growing up, I've always been known as the peaceful hippie. Yeah. But not after the trail and after meeting you and after India and all these experiences, now I'm like confident. Now I know what it is.
You took like a quantum leap. I mean, and that's why we're going to talk a little bit about the synchronicity that brought us together, which was so profound. But I just want to make sure everybody is tuned in to what Alejo went through and the choice that he made, and not being afraid of the unknown, because I've been a huge believer in my life that the unknown is where the growth of it. Alejo is a perfect example of that, because he willingly stepped into the unknown. That's survival. That's primal. That's like, you didn't know, right? Rattlesnake almost bite you, bears, like you must have been freezing at nights, right? There had to have been just a lot of physical discomfort, right? How did you get through that? How did you get through the physicality of it all with your mind?
Yeah.
Because a lot happened, right? That you had to like change your perception, change your outlook, your internal language, right? Your imaging.
Yeah, I think just being present helps, you know, being present. And that's what the trail taught me, you know, 2,600 miles. It wasn't about any part of the trail. It wasn't about finishing. I wasn't that was one thing. Since the beginning, I never told myself I have to finish. No, I was just already on the path. I was happy with the first week. If I had to drop out on the second week, I was already happy hiking the first section of the desert. So that helped. And I think I brought that into my life now. And I have a vision of where I want what the goal, what Canada is. But then after Canada, there's more goals, and it's never ending goals. So it's always just important to focus on the step ahead, you know, that step we're taking. That's what I do now. I don't focus on the future. I don't focus on the past. It's there, but I'm here, you know?
Well, folks listening, brothers, sisters, fellow NOW-IST, fellow seekers, you're listening and watching a NOW-IST in action, and you're watching the example of what a NOW-IST is. Alejo came into my life, and I didn't want to interrupt your story if you feel, I'm feeling like it's time to share the divine synchronicity that brought Alejo and myself together in a very mystical way. And of course, I've been studying spiritual teaching, spiritual teachers, and just my own inward journey for decades. But the present moment found me like, you know, a decade ago, maybe 10 years ago, but the teaching came through me in 2017. And I did 2 years of the 1 minute in the now. Anybody that's gone to my YouTube channel or checked out all the LinkedIn or Facebook, you've seen that I had this series called the 1 minute in the now. For 1 solid year, 250 episodes, I shot a 1 minute video teaching about present moment awareness, or about, you know, how to live in the spiritual context of living in the present moment. And then after that first year, I took all 250 videos and repurposed them and re-edited them and sent them out again for another year. And after 2 years of shooting the 1 minute in the now series that I was just inspired to do, and I didn't miss, you can go to my YouTube channel, you'll see 500 and some videos up there. But after I finished, I said, okay, now it's time for long form videos. I just spent 2 years of doing 1 minute. There's more. And I want to create videos that have more substance, that have longer, the stories that are beyond the 1 minute teaching. And I felt, so I put this prayer out to the universe. I said, God, just show me somebody, or give me, thank you. I said, thank you. I didn't say supplication. I didn't come from the end in a negative way. I said, thank you for guiding me to somebody that would help me create long form videos. That was the prayer. That was the intention.
Oh, wow.
About a week after saying that, I'm a property manager and a realtor, and I was renting this property to this guy, and he was very flaky. And he met me one day on his motorcycle, and he had his phone sticking out his back pocket. And I thought, wow, I mean, and this is literally like a week after I sent this intention out to the universe. And so the guy ends up not renting a property. I was kind of hoping that he would rent a property, but in hindsight, I was hoping he wouldn't, because he was so flaky. He's not going to pay his rent. It's going to be a problem. But he's in this motorcycle, comes to meet me last minute, and his back pocket, he's on a motorcycle, his phone is like halfway out of his back pocket. He drives away. I'm thinking, as he's driving away, I'm thinking, oh my God, that guy's going to lose his phone. So the next day, I think it was, I get a call from this guy. He says, hey.
What time did I call?
Gosh, good question. What time did you
Early,
call?
really early, no?
Yeah, probably morning time. Yeah.
Or nighttime.
Because you found so basically what happened was this guy drove downtown and you found this broken phone with a cracked screen in front of where, Alejo?
In front of my restaurant where I was working.
It's in front of which restaurant?
It was actually, no, it wasn't by, it was
By Joe's?
by Joe's. It was by
Joe's Cafe.
Yes.
He picks up this phone and my number was on the screen, right? Is that right? Or
so you're not, no, I went on this phone.
Yeah.
And I found Billy. I saw, I think, a message by Billy.
Yeah.
So I messaged you.
Yeah. So you messaged me from his phone.
From his phone, yeah.
From this phone. And he says, hey, I found this guy. Then I think I called you. Right?
Yeah. You called me the next morning.
I called you the next morning and he says, and you say, hey, I found this guy's phone and your name came up. And I think, oh, it's the guy's phone. I thought it was going to fall out of his butt. And it did. And
you saw it about to fall.
Yeah. I saw it, but he drove away and it was still in his pocket. But we like 2 miles on his motorcycle, and then it break. And so anyway, Alejo gets this phone. I said, oh my gosh, I know he wants the phone. Meet me at Con Vivo, or meet me at the Marmonte Hotel. At the time was the Hyatt Hotel, right? Turns out you worked there, correct? You worked there.
I was working at Convivo right next to it.
Yeah, the Convivo, which is the.
But you literally said, let's meet at by Convivo.
Yes.
I'm like, I work at Convivo.
Another phenomenal just synchronicity and coincidence. So then I meet Alejo. I thank him so much. I give him I think I gave him some money to say thank you for returning this phone, because a lot of people
would $100.
$100, exactly. Because I knew this guy would, even though he was just kind of discombobulated and all over the place, but he really would want his phone back.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe you gave me $100.
And so Alejo was just like grateful, and I was grateful. And I'm looking, the phone is kind of cracked, right? The face is cracked on this iPhone. Yeah. It's pretty smashed. And so we just start small talking. And I said, well, what are you up to? You just tell them our conversation, right? If you remember.
So from my side of the story, I was at work and I'm clocking out. I was working at Convivo at the time. I had just moved to Santa Barbara because after the trail, I had gone back to Miami, still trying to figure out what am I going to do next. So I decided, you know what? I'm a filmmaker. I've always been good at video. Let's do this for a living. Let's do videos. So I started making videos on the side, working as a server, but always making videos. And then my friend calls me, the same guy that had helped me in 2016. He says, I have a room open in Santa Barbara. I said, of course, yes. At this point, I'm with the universe, yes. So, I mean, that's a great opportunity. So I fly to Santa Barbara and I start working at Convivo. I'm living there for, I don't know, I think it was a couple of months before I met you, 2-3 months living in Santa Barbara, working at Convivo, and I'm clocking out. My manager tells me, hey, someone stole my phone yesterday. And then so we're having this conversation about phones, and I'm telling her, well, we're in 2022, it's iPhone. Who steals phones? Like, and here, who's gonna steal a phone here? That's the conversation we had. And I clock out and I say bye to her, and I'm walking. And I remember I went to meet my friend at Joe's. I get out of the car. I think I come back to my van, and right outside of my van by State Street, there's an iPhone. And the first thing I remember was a conversation I had with my manager, like, who steals phones? So I don't know if it was the universe telling me, do you steal phones?
Oh my God.
That's how I got it.
You never told me that side of the story.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
So I was like,
it's already in your awareness.
My awareness. And So before I continue, I pick up the phone, I go in my van. This month was very special to me because I was going deeply into the power of now with Eckhart Tolle. Have you read that book?
Eckhart Tolle,
Sure you
yes,
have.
so many times. I love it.
So I was reading that book on Audible on my car. Anytime I was driving, it was just playing, listening to the book. So I was always feeling my body. He tells you to go scan your body, stay in the present moment, feel the air, hear the sounds. So I'm doing this. And I think this is what got me in your radar. When I started doing this, when I started feeling the present moment, like actually, because for a long time, the last year after the trail, I was listening to Ram Dass. I was listening to all sorts of spiritual speakers, but it was all in the mind. It was always just intellectual. And it wasn't until this month that I started reading The Power of Now that I started actually not just intellectualizing it, but doing it, feeling it. And that's what got me into your alignment. Because then
Lord,
a few weeks go by and this happens. I get the phone, I text you because it says Billy. And then I get a call from you. You're telling me, hey, I tell you, I found this phone, and you tell me, let's meet up by Convivo. I was like, that's the first weird sign. Convivo, okay. We meet at Convivo, and as soon as I meet you, you give me $100. Second sign, like, what? How is this guy so nice? Like, what? It's not even his phone. It's not even his phone. You're like, yeah, the guy, and the guy knows a lot of people here. He's the owner of all these restaurants. That was another weird sign, another synchronicity, because I was doing meditations to find more video work. Ultimately, I want to find more video work, but I was open to more restaurants like in town. I was working part-time. So I was open to more work, but mainly focused on video. And I'm talking to you. I was also really focused on Kundalini. We're getting all into Kundalini, synchronicities. I had heard about synchronicities, and you tell me, yeah, I'm a spirit. I told them, oh yeah, I've had the weirdest synchronicities lately. And you go, what did you just say? Synchronicity. It's like, brother, I teach synchronicities. Like, and when I see your card, it says the NOW-IST. And the first thing I remember was Be Here Now by Ram Dass, The Power of Now the NOW-IST. And I'm talking about all of these synchronicities to I was calling my mom, I'm having synchronicities, mom. And then this happens. I was blown away. I had goosebumps all over my body. I remember right after so we talked for a little bit. We're talking about what we were doing. I told you I do videos, and you were like, wait a second, I'm looking for a filmmaker. And I was like, I'm looking for someone to work for, and you're like, this is perfect. Just
yes,
alignment, all the synchronicities.
It was magic, brother. And
magical. And when we said goodbye, you looked at your phone. It was 11:11.
Yes, there it is. There's the mic drop right there, brother.
Mic drop.
So I didn't know a lot of what you just described. Like, I didn't know that you're listening to Eckhart Tolle. I didn't know that you just had the phone and your awareness from your manager. Like, oh my gosh, like it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. And then after putting this intention out to the universe, God gives me Alejo literally in front of me
in a matter of days, because I put my intention of days before.
Yeah, so we probably put our intentions about the same. Mine was like a week. So
we're the same day.
So the universe will conspire to help you when you get out of the thinking mind and get out of your own way and thinking it's not going to happen, or like it's going to be hard or difficult. No, you just allow yourself to be open to what is going to come into your life. Look for what I call the spiritual breadcrumbs. So another spiritual breadcrumb, like Alejo was saying, is 1111 is my number. It's not my number. It's a universal number of angelic alignment. It's there's 4 ones. It's part of divine connection to divine energy. And the numerology of 1111 is a very spiritually synchronistic angelic number. And on the phone, when Alejo hands it to me, after we walk away, I had walked away from you. You had left, and I looked down at the phone, and the time was 11:11. That was the end of our meeting. I'd walked. If I were to look at the phone when you handed it to me, it wouldn't have been 11:11. It wasn't 11:11 until I walked away and I decided to look at the phone. It's 11:11.
Yeah.
And from that moment, and then if you go to the NOW-IST YouTube page, you can see Alejo and his brilliant talent in many ways on my site and all the other videos he shot, because he's a prolific filmmaker, prolific videographer, just I call him the video master, because he is just a genius artist when it comes to videos and music and curation and production. He's just a man. I just can't.
Man, you lift me up so much, Billy. Thank you.
I can't tell you, brother. I know you're humble. I appreciate that, but Man, I mean, if you go to Billy Mandar or go to my YouTube channel, Alejo produced a video of this synchronicity that
What's
we're
the
going
name
to
of the video?
Oh my, I think it's called Signs from the Universe.
Signs from the Universe.
Signs from the
So you can
Universe.
type Signs from the Universe, Billy Mandarino, and it show up there.
Yeah, so go to YouTube, Billy Mandarino, the NOW-IST, and type in Signs from the Universe. You can see the artistic impression of this video, but it gets better from there, doesn't it?
I remember I went in the car and I actually teared up because I called my mom and I was just feeling like,
me too, Bert. I was like a stun gun victim. I was walking on clouds thinking, oh my gosh, the universe likes.
That was one of the most powerful ones I've ever had. Yeah.
I remember the universe likes speed. I read that once. And then, so here it is. Like you and I both were just into the flow of not worrying about it happening or hoping it happens. We were just allowing. We had no resistance. Yeah. We were just so open.
Yeah.
But you have to pay attention to the signs. And we were both like equally chill bumps everywhere, freaking out, going, this is spectacular. And then from that encounter, chance meeting, which was 3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago. Since then, Alejo's produced, I don't know, 50 videos for me. How many has it been? 40 videos? How many?
A lot.
Yeah. It's been unbelievable. So all 8. So when you come to the NOW-IST Experience Live, May 13th to 14th, it was just exactly 30 days from this video, from this podcast that we're shooting.
I'm so excited.
You're going to see all, and Alejo will be there. He's going to be filming this one again to create more amazing content. But it's
going to be incredible. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so excited about it. But he created all 8 of the music videos that Kirsten and I, our band is in the present tense. He's created incredible artistic journey syncing videos, if you will, that sync you up to the meanings of the song, the vision of the song, the intention of the song, and this beautiful visual connected artwork that I call his music videos.
That was a journey, creating those 8 music videos for the show. That was a journey in itself.
It took a year. Was it a year?
A year, yeah.
And you have Jean and Michi and these 2 great actors that are largely the stars of these 8 videos. It's almost like a Netflix series, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like its own series.
Yeah, I love the videos. They're very colorful. They're very playful. We put a lot of work into the wardrobe. We put work into the locations, just the everything. There's a lot of people that worked in this, there was a lot of artists, John Michel being one of them, incredible art director. Right now he's working for some of the top artists in South Florida for Spanish music with huge artists. Miss Galactica, which is Michi. She's an incredible artist herself.
She's blowing up. I heard her new single.
Yeah, her new music.
She's a beautiful singer, songwriter, dancer, performer.
And Alexia, amazing.
She'll be at the NOW-IST Live. You can meet Alexia. She's in one of the videos. She's in Trapped in a Bottle.
She was acting there, and her sister Soul as well. Soul was in the video. I mean, it was awesome. We shot so The Way, my favorite video from the whole series.
Yes, that one is magic.
If you guys want to go look at that, it's called just type Billy Mandarino The Way music video. And that was shot all over California. We actually shot in
Pismo Beach, the dunes at Pismo Beach, right?
The dunes. We shot in the Redwoods. We shot in Yosemite.
Yep.
Yeah, we shot all over.
Malibu, right?
Malibu.
In the caves of Malibu, right?
But we finished that music video all the way south in Malibu. We found an amazing cave, and we had like very little light left. We had all the candles. We went into the cave. We set up the cave with candles. We lit the candles. We got an incredible shot of John picking up the box to end the music video, and then he teleports back into the desert. I won't spoil more.
Oh my gosh, that I must say, humbly, is my favorite video out of all 8. You shot it in 4K. Visuals are incredible. Oh, and just spoiler alert, we have, I think it's a 6-foot by 9-foot video wall this year.
Nice.
So your videos will look spectacular.
Last year's was a big one.
It's even bigger this year.
Okay.
It's going to be a huge video wall. The videos are going to look, Alejo's videos are going to look spectacular. And I know Jean and Michi,
it's crazy because the music videos are just one little thing that you've put into the show. Because I mean, I've been a part of the show from last year, and then also been talking to you so much in all the aspects of getting ready for this experience. And I'm so excited because it's not only visual, it's not only sound, it's also far more than that. It's just the being in the room with all the special people that show up. Last year, Alexia, me, John, we met people that are now family. Like Alexia keeps talks to Susan all the time. They're
Oh, no kidding.
incredible friends. Yeah.
Really?
Because it's just it's one of those things. It's an event that has so much energy, so much high light positive intention that automatically anyone that's there was meant to be there. That's just a one big, it's a soup of synchronicity ready for just magic. So I'm so excited.
Brother, that is so well said. I've never heard it said better. Super synchronicity. And today Alejo and I are talking so much about synchronicities, but he's absolutely right. I'm just there to facilitate it and host it. I get as much as as Alexia, as Alejo, as John, as Michi, as anybody that's going to be there, because the people that walk into that 2-day event experience are not the same people that walk out of it 2 days later. You change viscerally at a DNA level, at a cellular level, a soulful spiritual level. You change. It's an amazing thing, and I'm just inspired to be part of it, because I'm just facilitating it, hosting it, but it's literally about the collective energy.
The shared intention. That's why the shared intention.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting chills talking about it, because I'm getting fired up, because there is no
Alexia
time.
moved to Santa Barbara synchronicity when the show happened.
That was her first move, right? That's right.
And she, till this day, she says Santa Barbara opened up its doors through the NOW-IST Experience, and that's why she's so excited to go back, because it's almost like the full circle of everything she's gone through, being welcomed through this event. You know,
she is a light. She's in the video, trapped in a bottle. Is her sister coming?
Her sister's coming, Nicole, but
that's in the video.
Not the one from the video. That's the younger one. She's in Argentina. Yeah. And I would tell anyone that's watching, and you're hearing all these synchronicities, I feel like anyone can experience synchronicities. It's all about, and I think for me, if I was to give an advice on how to start getting into the vortex, I call it, of synchronicities, and where anything that you think happens, it's first of all only taking 5 minutes, or it's whenever you want, just feeling like, even when I'm talking to you right now, I'm feeling like my hands are a little bit cold, just a tiny little bit cold, but my feet are warm. And just that feeling, it's almost like there's this like orb now being created. You can't see, but it's just you feeling creates the orb where anything that you think of will happen, any intention that you put in. And if you're really interested, come to this show, because I promise being in this show will catapult you to start. You know, it's a little booster. Why not take the little spiritual booster?
Oh my gosh, I'm so feeling you. You are so connected. You're so aligned right now with what you just shared with everybody. I hope everybody is watching you. Hopefully you're taking notes, because what he just talked about was so true, that anybody can experience synchronicities. It's just a matter of your connection to the present moment. It's the degree of your alignment in this present moment, like Alejo so brilliantly, like the orb, like the vortex. You're right. You step into it the minute you decide, and your intention says, okay, I am aligned. What is the universe, God, divine, the divine matrix, if you whatever you want to call it, whatever your intention is to connect to, you will get a reflection, you will get a download, you will get a sign, a synchronicity, something will show up, but you have to have the eyes to see it.
Yes.
And Alejo has the eyes. I have the eyes, because we practice it, but anybody can start this. It's the beauty of what's called beginner's mind, meaning when you're fresh, when you're a blank slate, you have to be empty to create this abundance or the synchronicity. So that clean beginning, like Alexia, like last year, she was new. She came from Venezuela, right?
From Argentina, but she was living in Miami, Argentina.
Yeah. Argentina. So boom, she just came to Santa Barbara. She said, I don't know. I don't have a plan. I'm here. And a whole year later, she's made it happen. And like, that's talk about being empty and being open and detaching from the outcome and just allowing, and what I call positively surrendering. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And you've been such a great example of that, brother.
Yeah, it happens. It also happens a lot when there's change. For some reason, when there's a movement, because change is a movement of energy. And whenever energy is moving, especially, and right now, so with what's happening in the world, you know, so many things are collapsing, so many things are being exposed. There's a lot of movement of energy. There's a lot of change. That's the time. That's the time that we have the bonus points. You know, it's like bonus manifestation. Oh, for my parents, my family just moved from Miami to Houston, and I told them, I was like, you know, start visualizing what it is you want, even if you don't know exactly, in a broad sense. What is it? Do you want just peace, love? You know, that's as broad as you can get. And then from there, you start being shown that broad vision, and then by being shown, now you have a sense of, okay, now I know what I want this. And then as you go, you get closer and closer to what it is that you want. Your vision gets more refined. But it's now, it's in these moments of change. And if we're in a routine all the time, sometimes it's difficult because we're so used to the same routine. I wake up, I do this, that. Sometimes it's breaking out for one day, break out of your normal routine and change, do something different. And in that change, you'll see how something's going to happen. Something,
Talk about a change maker. That is Alejo right there, because Alejo, think about what he did by going on the Pacific Coast Trail, right?
Yeah.
Pacific Crest Trail or
Crest Trail?
Pacific Crest Trail, PCT.
Yeah.
PCT. And then from there, he opens up to this, okay, I know first he drops out of school because he said it wasn't for him. Then he does this massive life-changing 6-month adventure that most people aren't even half as brave as you are, could even attempt, but you complete it. And then the synchronicity of the flooding into you, just your brilliant talent is just being rewarded because the universe loves the artist, because artists are creators. But then COVID hits, right? Yes. And what happened with you in India?
So we'd been working here in Santa Barbara, Billy and I, making videos, and I was still in Convivo, and then also working with Billy. And eventually I started getting other gigs, and I realized, like, I can finally leave the restaurant business, which was my intention right a few days before I met you. So after I met you and we started working together, boom, I was into this artist world. I was truly an artist. Now I'm living from my art. And that's the best feeling ever. That's incredible.
The freedom of living your dharma, your purpose, your inspired gift.
So, and we were working together, and my ex-girlfriend at the time, Michi, she called me and told me, hey, I have this project. We're working with widows in India, in the desert, and they're going to be making this clothing for the brand that I'm starting. And I want to capture the process. I want to capture the dyes, how the stamps are made, how they do the embroidery, how the women live, where they live. I want to capture all of it, the whole process, just so we can come back to Miami to start the brand and also have content and videos to show what the project is about. So I was like, you know what? Right before, when I met you, I remember I told myself that my intention as a filmmaker, as an artist, was to work with light, work with consciousness, with expansion, with awareness. And that's what's been happening. Like, magically, all the projects that have been coming my way has been aligned with my mission,
Synchronicities keep flowing, right?
Yeah, of awakening.
You're open.
Yeah. So when she told me, let's go to India, and I'm like, oh, definitely, I love this project. Let's go. So we went out there. We started filming the shoot was going to be a month long, and I think we shot about a week. And a week in, we get a call from Michi's family, and she had a flight back through Italy, and they told her, hey, Italy's closing up. The whole world is going to close up. You have to leave. And Michi left, and I was left in India with a few more weeks to go, a couple of more weeks to go to my flight. And my family's calling me. They're telling me, listen, you need to leave. You need to get out of there. And I decided to stay. Something in my intuition told me, you know what, it's going to be fine. I need to go to Rishikesh. A friend had told me something about Rishikesh. So I took a 17-hour bus ride to Rishikesh. As soon as I get to Rishikesh, I go to the first little restaurant made out of wood. It's like a wooden structure, and in the roof it was houses, and in the top there was a restaurant. No chairs. You sit on the floor, you eat on the table, but a very Indian style. And I'm asking the server for the Wi-Fi. He tells me, hey buddy, you know what's happening? He spoke English, and I'm like, no, what's going on? They're gonna lock India down. They're locking the whole world. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, tomorrow there's a lockdown. Like, you have to be in your hotel. I'm like, in my hotel? I don't have a hotel. And the guy's like, well, I don't know. You have to go now, like figure out where you're going to stay. So quickly that day I was running around all over Rishikesh. Rishikesh is one of the most sacred places in India. It's on the Ganges River, and it's known as the capital of yoga. That's not the reason I went. I went just from intuition. Something told me to go, And my friend Tara had told me, you have to go to Rishikesh if you're there. So I'm looking for a hotel in Rishikesh. Nothing. Every hotel I go to, They look at me first of all with fear because I'm a Westerner, and they're just so scared with the news. Obviously, the news is feeding fear.
Yeah, right,
They don't know what's going on. Everyone's confused. So the first thing they do is stay away from the Westerners. So I'm going to any hotel. All the hotels are rejecting me. I'm freaking out. I'm like, no way, I can't believe this. I go to the hostels, the lower tier, maybe the hostels rejecting me. No hostels. I start going to the private guest houses. Like I go back to the restaurant. The guy tells me, "Maybe try here." I go there. No. I go back to the restaurant. I tell him, "Hey, no one is taking me." He says, "Go to the temple. The Maharaji will take you." So the Maharaji is the master of a temple.
Guru, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I go to this temple, and I'm just like, okay, I'm so happy for Maharaji. I can't wait to meet Maharaji. As soon as I knock on the door, the same Maharaji is like, "Get out."
Oh,
You can't. No one can come into the temple.
oh,
The temple's been closed. I'm like, oh my god, if the Maharaja says no,
you're done.
who else?
What are you doing? You're sleeping on the street. Wow.
I heard of a few people that were actually decided to sleep in caves because the Ganges River goes through a lot of rocks, and it's very rocky, very mountainous. It's a valley. Rishikesh is right on the valley of where the Ganges. So I'm like, I guess the PCT trained me. I guess I'm gonna have to sleep in a cave. So I go back to the restaurant, and the guy thankfully offered me to stay at the restaurant. He's like, "Hey, you know what? If you want to sleep here." So I slept there for 10 days. Just to fast forward a little bit, I slept there for 10 days. Well, it was just me, the owner of the restaurant, the chef, all the chefs had left. It was me, him, and this guy from Serbia, I believe. Yeah, he was a Serbian guy. The three of us with whatever was left in the restaurant of food. That's what we were eating. And then eventually they opened up. They let us go eat. They let us buy food early in the morning for a couple of hours. And then you had to go back into your place and stay there the entire day. This went on for 10 days. On the third day, the people that lived downstairs found out that I was sleeping there. So they told them, "Listen, we know there's a Westerner sleeping in our building that we're renting this restaurant to you guys. If we find out that he's still there, we're for next season, we're going to close your restaurant. Like there are no Westerners allowed."
Ooh.
So he came up to me and told me, "You have to hide. You have to stay hidden." So for the next 7 days of those 10 days, 7 days I spent in the floor on this corner. I couldn't look at the windows because they couldn't see me. The cops will be patrolling the area, and I couldn't talk. I couldn't make too much noise.
Oh my God.
So this was like a week of hiding. Vipassana. Yeah, the universe told me you need to stay right there and just sit.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
But that was amazing. Eventually, after the 10th day, I called my friend Daniela Strada. She's on Instagram. Daniela Strada. She does alpha theta healing, and then she did a theta healing session with me and told me basically sources saying that you're meant to be in India. You're there for a reason, and freedom is actually coming faster than you think. She said that. I hang up the phone. As soon as I hung up the phone, the guy, this was early in the morning, the guy comes up, knocks on the door, opens it, says, "You need to leave. The cops know you're here." That was seconds after I hung up the theta healing session.
Oh my gosh.
So 5 minutes later, I'm with all my bags in the middle outside, trying to figure out where I'm going to go. I eventually found a room. I stayed in India for a total of half a year, 6 months.
Oh my
Each month getting emails from the embassy, like figuring out how we can get back. They were having a few repatriation flights, but they were like $5,000, $4,000. I'm like, I'm just gonna wait it out. So I waited 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and it just kept extending. Like the lockdown extended. And on the third month, India was more open. I had a scooter. I was moving around, and I worked on a project called Feeding Rishikesh. I would love to do a shout out to Feeding Rishikesh. It was Tarini, my friend Tarini, and Varun, amazing people, and that's where I learned the word seva, what service really is. I mean, I never knew what service was till I lived it, and I was helping doing video. I was doing videos for them. It's basically a nonprofit organization feeding people in Rishikesh from the COVID pandemic. People were out of jobs. A lot of people that were working on buildings, construction workers that came from towns, like really poor villages, were stuck there. The construction stopped, barely had food to eat. They were living in the construction sites with their kids. It was sad what I saw. So it was, I'm like, I'm in my room. I'm here in Rishikesh in the lockdown. What am I going to do? Let me help. So I went with them, the Feeding Rishikesh, and I produced a few videos for them. And now they're still going. Now they made a school out of it. They created a school for women, for little girls.
That's
They're teaching
amazing.
English, doing yoga. It's grown, and it all started in COVID. It was nice to be a
Wow.
part of it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you are an angel saint, my brother.
Oh
So
man,
you would feed, how did you guys get the funds to feed these people?
we fed. Oh man, I don't know the numbers, but the numbers were astonishing. The amount of people we fed. I think it was we raised over $80,000, almost $100,000 were raised since the beginning of COVID.
Oh
And
my
it was
goodness.
all through donation based. It was all, we were sending links to people in all over the world, to group chats. And Tarini has a 40,000 followers on Instagram, so that helped a lot. We were hitting up influencers, and that's how we did it.
That's
All donations.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
We were packing. We rented out a restaurant, and the restaurant had been abandoned, so we had to clean it. And just the cleaning of it was an initiation of itself, just because Tarini lives in an ashram since she was 20 years old. And now she's been living in an ashram for 30 years in Amas ashram. She's the hugging guru of India. And she told me, when you clean, like cleaning something, it's also cleaning something inside of you. So we were all just cleaning the restaurant and at the same time cleaning our karma, you know?
Oh my God. Well,
Yeah.
that's incredible that you had the PCT, then you have this Rishikesh experience, and what's next, right? I mean, you're just like wide open to synchronicities, to the signs, to that's what's so great about you, Alejo. What so many people listening and watching can learn is like the art of surrender, right? Positively surrender. I know from my story last year when I was paralyzed and had COVID and Guillain-Barré syndrome and had to learn to walk again. What helped me tremendously is what I think has helped Alejo, and correct me if I'm wrong, but learning to surrender to the challenges that come in, but do it positive. Not like you surrender, like you give up, but to allow the universe and the divine to show you the next step, to show you the light, to show you the synchronicities, the spiritual breadcrumbs, the signs, because that's what you did, right? You just kept following these breadcrumbs.
At this point, I was so aware of the signs. So now I know. Now I knew I was flowing. I was trusting fully, and it's exponential. You know, as you trust more, you're shown more, and as you're shown more, you realize, wow, this is all perfect. Actually, everything is perfect, and that gives you more and more trust and more synchronicities.
Isn't it amazing? Well, I'm so grateful for you this time, brother, just for this time you spent with us, for the stories you shared. And everybody listening and watching, please heed Alejo's call. Super synchronicities are waiting for you, my friends. They're waiting for you. If you just have the eyes to see and the heart to connect, get your energy in alignment, and just allow yourself to positively surrender into your problems, into your worries, your fears, your stresses, and allow the gift of your wonderful human imagination and your inspiration and your intuition to guide you to that next thing. And I'm just excited because a month from today, 30 days from today, another synchronicity is perfect timing. You have
30 days.
It's 30 days
exactly
until our event, which is May 13th to 14th. And Alejo is as much of this event as I am, because he's created so much of the content, the videos, just so much of what this event is about is the art and the inspiration. And as you can hear from his alignment with this mission of the NOW-IST teaching, of just being connected to the oneness and to the present moment in such a rich and full way, that you become kind of a master of your own manifestation. You become a creator, a divine creator of your life. And then when you have a lot of anything, what do you want to do? Just like Alejo, you just want to give it away. You have a lot, you just want to give it away. So Alejo and I are both, I don't want to say we're magnanimous because it sounds a little egoic, but we're all about giving. As you know, Alejo, I mean, just giving so much of his time to feed the people in India, right? You could have looked after yourself and worried and feared and strife, but what'd you do? You went into the firestorm. You went into it and thought, how can I serve? Like, you're stuck in Rishikesh ultimately, right? You didn't, I mean, you must have had some fear and some fear of the unknown, but the unknown was where the growth was, right? You just kind of leaned into it and said, okay, what am I going to do? I can't do anything. I'm just going to serve other people. I mean, that's Alejo's heart. And I just pray you learn from that experience that Alejo shared with us and pay it forward to people. When you're having hard times in your life, think how you can serve, not what's in it for you, and your life will get better.
I love that. Yeah. And I know we'll have to reconnect again over the next, because there's so much more, right?
There's so much more. I mean, we just, an hour right together feels like a blink of an eye.
Blink.
But hey, anybody listening to this video, watching this video, we want you to come join Alejo and I at the NOW-IST Experience Live. You're going to see this artist at work. He films this entire event and then he creates all these amazing
Oh, we're gonna
videos.
film some magic. We're gonna create an incredible video this year.
Oh my
I
gosh.
can't wait.
So please, and it's $222 to attend a general admission ticket. It's $777 if you're going to be VIP. But Alejo and I want to offer you, the listener or the viewer of this video, you got 30 days. But right now, I'm going to give you an opportunity. We're going to pay the synchronicity, the super synchronicity Alejo was talking about. I'm going to pay it forward to you. If you go to billymandarino.com and you click on the event page and you type in this code in the coupon code, NOW-WON, the number 50. So it's now 150. Your $222 ticket will go to $50. And we just want you to be there. So
Wow.
share that code with your friends.
$50 for that experience is incredible.
And
if you guys are here listening, I'll see you guys there, because what you get out of that, imagine if I told you for $50 you can get a spiritual booster.
Yeah, there's so much
spiritual soul booster.
Oh my gosh. And I tell you, I'm here. Alejo's going to be there.
The food is incredible.
Yes, we have so much to offer, not just your soul, but your community here in Santa Barbara. And if you're coming from out of Santa Barbara, just come, stay. If you want to, if you need a hotel, I've got a discount rate on the hotel link. So you can direct message me through this video. You can go to billymandarino.com and you can send me an email through the contact tab. But I can give you a link to the hotel stay, and I give you a reduced rate at the hotel stay if you're from out of town listening or watching this. But if you feel the synchronicity right now, if you feel the connection of these two synchronistic beings in front of you, this super synchronicity that's happening in this moment, if you feel the call, you know, $50, it will be probably the best $50 you've ever spent in your life. When the value that we're going to give you, ultimately, I feel humbly can change your life forever. So
yeah,
come, billymandarino.com, click on the coupon code NOW150. Alejo Jergovic, it's been my absolute honor to be with you, and I'm so grateful for your presence. Namaste, brother.
I can't wait to do this again, Billy.
We will, and I'm going to see you soon, my man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, peace be with you, and God bless you. Thank you so much. Namaste, my friend. Love you too.